Double Dragon, yes. Based on one of the most famous beat-em-ups of the late 80s, the series would be part of the golden age of arcade machines. The original game was released in 1987 and had the most straightforward premise imaginable. A simple side-scrolling game where you punch, kick and elbow your way through gangs to rescue a kidnapped girl. That's it. So of course, when Hollywood got hold of it, they said, what if we made this completely incomprehensible? By the time the film was released, there were several games, all of them following the same basic idea of the player making their way through a series of bad guys to save or avenge a girl. Kind of. That's how it started at least. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Double Dragon, the movie. Released in 1994, it was part of the first awkward wave of video games made into movies. You know, Super Mario Bros., Street Fighter and well, this. It'll come as no surprise that those first couple of films, all by themselves, prove that nobody in the film industry had any idea what made video games work. The games were about street fighting, two twin brothers, Billy and Jimmy Lee as they become known. There were two of them, so you know, Double Dragon. They'd be trying to rescue the love interest of the beast, Marion. Suffice to say, she was always around and he needed the boys one way or another. And I won't lie, by 1994 the game series had lost its way independently of the film. It wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. The movie though, that was something else entirely. We still had the two brothers, Billy played by Scott Wolf and Jimmy by Mike Dacascos, and of course Marion as well, brought to life by Alyssa Milano. As for the rest of it, well, yeah. The movie's about a magical omelette known as the Double Dragon. Set in the distant future of 2007, in a Los Angeles that's been leveled by an earthquake and now has frequent aftershocks. Now called New Angeles, it's a neon wasteland run by cartoonish gangs under the command of Kuga Shuko. This would be Robert Patrick with bleach blonde hair doing his best cyberpunk villain impression. It's actually quite fun to watch him hammered up like this, something he doesn't really get a chance to do now. The plot, if you can call it that, revolves around the Double Dragon medallion split into two halves. One controls body, the other controls soul. Kuga Shuko already has one half and wants the other. Why? Because he's evil and the script says so, that's why. No, seriously, there is no real reason. He's the richest person on the planet already and he's trying to take over the poorest city on the planet with a trinket. It doesn't really make any sense. Somewhere in their chaos we get Marion, cropped hair, tactical gear, running a resistance group called the Power Gore. She spends most of the film shouting exposition, hacking things, and somehow staying completely clean in a city covered in dirt and grime. Basically, the idea of the film is nothing original in that two brothers return home, fight the bad guys and save the day. It's not deep and very much of its time. Nobody's pulling this one apart looking for the nuance. The movie tone is all over the place. It wants to be kids' action adventure, a dark dystopian view of the world and a comedy, all at once. It's an odd film that way. It's not deep, it's not serious, and it's definitely not consistent. It really is all over the place. 1 minute torture, the next a fart joke.
What? Don't act dumb!
I'm not acting!
Well, maybe another week of my special spinach diet will help you to remember.
When you watch it, you can almost hear the studio executives in the background. Make it lighter, make it funnier, make it toy-friendly. Visually, it's not awful, but it is dated. It's weirdly colourful, dystopian, chaotic and weirdly ambitious for its budget. But it's also pure early 90s cheese. And in all fairness, the special effects and fight choreography aren't bad at all for the time. Just remember it's over 30 years old now. And if you're wondering how much of this resembles a video game, well, almost none of it. No iconic stages, no familiar enemies, no sense of the rhythm. Sure, there's fighting, I guess. It'd be a bit of a stretch if there wasn't though, even for this one. By the time we get to the finale, the medallion fuses, they get match outfits, and suddenly it's Power Rangers time. Then it ends. The heroes ride off into the sunset, accompanied by another joke, and then gone. In hindsight, it's oddly charming, because Double Dragon isn't being cynical, it's not trying to cash in on $1 billion IP, which is probably the best as it didn't even make its budget back. It cost nearly $8 million to make, and barely scrapped half of it back at the cinema. It's just a film made by people who had absolutely no idea what they were adapting and decided to wing it. Either way, those involved with the story had little to no idea about the actual games. They weren't even close. Given the state of the games, it's not fair to put the blame just at their door either, but I kind of think it didn't help matters either. It's a bit of a weird one. One of the writers is Paul Dini, who around the same time would be involved in making Batman the animated series. It's pretty much the benchmark for anything Batman related on TV and film, even today. I don't know about you, but I was a bit disappointed when I found that out. A chink in the old bat hammer. So yeah, strange but true. Much like the Double Dragon film. One of the last Double Dragon games, released in 1995, would actually take elements from the film and try and bring it into the game series, but it wasn't a success. Again, it was odd. There'd be clips and characters of the film and it'd be a 1 versus 1 fighting game, like Street Fighter, and you'd fight in locations you wouldn't really recognise. Weird, but I guess that was gaming in that era. After that, a series was put on hiatus for a few years. There's been a few relatively recent attempts to revive, but nothing that's stuck. Before rewatching the Double Dragon film to make this video, I've not seen it in years. I wonder if it might actually be a secretly lost gem, but no. Nothing to see here, folks, unless you want to relive an early 90s type of escapade. And to be fair, sometimes that isn't a bad thing. Or at least, I guess, compared to some of the other video game adaptations that followed, Double Dragon is almost innocent in its stupidity. A time capsule from when video games weren't corporate, just clueless. Anyways, I've been Paul and this has been Pixels Popcorn. Thanks for watching.